President Trump has taken Davos by storm, and joining me tonight is Tom Rose, U.S. Ambassador to Poland, who's joining me this evening. And we're asking the question tonight. Good evening from India to you, Mr. Tom Rose. Everybody is calling it disorder that is going on, not the order of the world. And everybody is looking at President Donald Trump analyzing the Trump tornado that hit Davos today. I want to just ask you, how do you look at the current standoff, as many in the world are looking at this today, between Europe and America?
Well, thank you very much for having me. Let me say this to start. I don't think there is a standoff. The European rage has us all a little bit bewildered back home in America. Denmark, despite being a capable and responsible ally, cannot by itself meet Greenland's strategic, economic, and security needs. She can't possibly defend the island, the world's largest at scale, nor can she begin to develop the vital strategic resources on that island that we also desperately need. I think what Europeans miss, and there are some exceptions, I think Poland, the country that I'm proud to represent the United States in as U.S. Ambassador to Poland, understands it better than almost any other European country. A stronger American role in Greenland isn't going to weaken NATO. It's going to strengthen NATO. More deterrence, more investment, more capability. We can't understand. It's difficult for us to understand how our European friends and allies, and they are our friends and they are our allies, don't understand this with Russia and China plainly visible on the horizon. Another point I'd like to make very quickly, which people often forget, many Americans don't even realize, Greenland is in North America. It's not in Europe. It's in North America. So it's vital to our national security. It's vital to the national security of the United States today, almost in the same way that Alaska is. It's an island, 2 million square kilometers, the largest island in the world. It has no infrastructure. It's being confronted with a Russia that is massively militarizing the Arctic. China today calls itself a near-Arctic power, and it's aggressively pursuing infrastructure, mining, and scientific footholds on that island. The reasons that America requires, needs, and must have Greenland are so obvious for everyone, so obvious for the protection of Europe itself, NATO itself. This isn't anti-Danish. We love Denmark. Denmark's a great ally, but Denmark's a country of 6 million people. Denmark can't possibly meet the infrastructure needs that we estimate to be in the tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars. Greenland,
which is a point that America has made. But Ambassador Rose, would you just acquire the country because it has strategic value for you? Doesn't matter the sovereignty of the nation? That's the question many are asking.
Well, the sovereignty of Greenland is going to be resolved. I don't think much of this is going to make any difference until there's a specific offer on the table. The sovereignty question is an interesting one. Pardon me, because as you might know or might recall, Denmark, the Danish government, upon its capitulation to Nazi Germany in 1940, transferred sovereignty of Greenland to the United States. We took Greenland over. We controlled it. We ran it. We owned it between 1940 and the end of the war. After the war, we gave it back to Denmark. Denmark, one of the things that strikes us a bit strange, and you in India can certainly appreciate this, the very powers that colonize the world, the English, the French, the Germans, the Italians, are now criticizing us of being colonialists when we're simply seeking to obtain our national security needs on an island that's in North America, that is much closer to the United States, right next door to Canada, than it is to Europe or Moscow. Greenland, here's another point I think that's very important to make. Greenland needs tens of billions, maybe even hundreds of billions of dollars in infrastructure in order to meet the modern age. They need ports, they need roads, they need airports, they need a modern electrical grid, they need subsea cables, satellite connectivity, resilient telecom networks. They need everything you can imagine. And Denmark can't provide it. They simply can't provide it. Greenland has massive hydropower and wind potential, yet today Greenland relies 100% on expensive imported diesel from Denmark. Only America can ensure safe, state-of-the-art, environmentally responsible resource development in Greenland. We're having a hard time understanding why this is so difficult.
Because the era of colonialism many thought was over. So when you talk about colonialism today and why it should surprise, it's just that the times have changed.
Does Denmark is Denmark not a colonial power in its control over Greenland?
So when President Trump says he's not going to use force, do you think that's a concession? Is there going to be an agreement before there is a takeover?
I can't speak for the White House. I have great trust in my president. Every time anyone has second-guessed him or questioned him, they've been proven wrong. I have complete trust in him. We are in the midst of a negotiation now with Denmark, with the Greenland people, of whom there are very few, 56, 57,000, I believe. And my hunch is that this, of course, is going to be settled peaceably. Nobody's invading anybody. In Greenland, in fact, there's nothing to invade. There's nobody there. So this is going to get settled. It has to be settled. It's critically important for the West, for the free world. I would argue even for India. Only America can ensure that in this day and age, Greenland can be used for the benefit of all of us in a safe, environmentally sound way. The U.S. Geological Survey, which is an organization and institute in the U.S. government, has identified 50 rare earth minerals that are critical to the economy and security of the United States, of Europe, of Canada, of India.
So that's the end game, the rare earth minerals.
No, I think I think, and again, I don't want to get ahead of the president. That's hugely important because of those 50 rare earths, 43 are found at scale in Greenland. Now, here's the point we got to remember, and this is important for India too, even though we in the United States have a magnificent U.S. ambassador who's just arrived in India, Sergio Gore, who's extremely close to the president. I think Indians are extremely lucky to have Ambassador Gore, who can deal with these issues far more expertly than I can. 70% of all the rare earths today that we rely on for everything in our modern environment, precision-guided weapons, radars, sonars, electric motors for cars, advanced electronics, grid-scale storage, jet engines, hypersonic, space, everything, you name it. 70% of that today comes from China. Now, of the world's refinement, 95% of all of those minerals are refined in China. In other words, we're completely dependent upon China for the very rare earths minerals and resources that we need to defend ourselves and to protect ourselves and to secure a peaceful, prosperous future. So yes, of course, minerals are important in Greenland because Greenland is
the shock and awe, Ambassador Rose, is also about the fact that Venezuela, Greenland, Canada, where does this stop? Or is all of this fair game? And do boundaries boundaries or sovereignty have any meaning? Those are questions that are being asked today. How do you
I think they're fair questions. And let me ask you, is Venezuela better off today without Nicolas Maduro? Are people suggesting we should return him to power? A kleptocrat, a theft, a thief, a drug trafficker, a dealer in narco-terrorism, a partner of Iran, of Cuba, of North Korea, of China? I think that in your neighborhood, when you have a disruptive and destructive force that has literally invaded America for 25, 30 years with poisonous drugs, with gangs, with crime, flooding us with millions and millions of refugees, fleeing that once rich and peaceful and democratic nation in South America, we also have a right to defend our interests. And
so then,
we did that.
Would you support all of these things are what Pakistan does to India? Would you support India taking over Pakistan? Why would you woo Pakistan?
I'm not. I'm not going to get into.
Same question.
No, but I'm not going to get into the Indo-Pakistan issue. We have a magnificent ambassador in New Delhi, Ambassador Sergio Gore. He is more than capable of handling these questions and handling our Indo-U.S. relationship.
I'm just asking a question on logic. What you said about all the countries that have created trouble for America, well, for India it's been Pakistan. Same formula, should it apply?
Well, I'm not going to answer a hypothetical like that. I will say this: India is very capable of defending yourself. You have defended yourself. You'll continue to do that. India has interests, and India will see to it that she protects her interests. But again, these are questions far better asked of our magnificent ambassador, Ambassador Sergio Gore, a brilliant young man. I say a young man because I'm an old man. He's not that young. But India is extremely fortunate to have him. And I think your relationship, our relationship, the U.S.-India relationship will flourish with Ambassador Gore in New Delhi.
And what do you think about the future of NATO?
I think the future of NATO is as strong as NATO members want it to be. I think that the future of NATO, from an American perspective, is extremely strong. We have great partners, great allies, who now finally, thanks to President Trump, are beginning to meet their defense obligations, their burden-sharing requirements. I will say it's my great pride. I represent the United States as the U.S. ambassador to Poland. And I'll say this, and I've only been in Poland 3 or 4 months now. Every European problem that is significant and existential has an answer. And that answer is in Poland. Poland is a proud country, a sovereign country. They're proud of their heritage, their language. They're patriotic, incredibly hardworking, aggressive, ambitious, highly educated, highly skilled, proud to work. Poland has none of the problems, the systemic existential problems that Europe has.
Well,
Poland last year grew at 10 times the rate of Germany. Poland, next to China, and now India, by the way, the fastest growing economy in the world, next to India and China, hasn't had a recession in 25 years. They have no woke problem. They have no cultural suicide problem. They have no border problem. They've secured it. They don't tolerate illegal migrants. It's the strongest land army in Europe.
And what do you think about U.S.-India friendship and relationship going forward?
I think it's in great hands with Ambassador Gore. I think the U.S.-India relationship is vitally important to both our countries, and it's going to be extremely well served by Ambassador Gore.
Well, thank you very much, Ambassador Thomas Rose, for joining me here on the News Hour tonight. It's been lovely to have you and get an insight about where this friendship and where this relationship between America, Europe, and India is going. Well, we leave it at that. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on the Newshour tonight. Good night. Be safe. I'll be back tomorrow.